CISE, the Serra da Estrela Interpreting Center, presents A Journey to the Estrela Range. The Estrela Range is the highest mountain range in mainland Portugal. It is the culmination of the country's central range, which ascends from Monte Junto to the Estrela Peak, separating the northern and southern parts biophysically and in terms of human settlement. Given its importance from the point of view of preservation, the Estrela Range is presently one of Portugal's most extensive protected areas. The film presents a quick overview of the area's highlights, visiting some of the spots that are of historical, cultural, geological and biological interest. We begin our journey along the range's southwestern slope, briefly visiting a few heritage buildings. We start off with a visit to the city of Seia, founded nearly 2,400 years ago by the Turdali people. It was elevated to a city in 1986. Since 1918, Seia's City Hall has been housed in this building, popularly known as the Workhouse. Built in 1773 in the civilian architectural style of the Marquis de Pombal era, this is a typical 17th century manor house showing clear Baroque influences. Only a few kilometers from Seia, we find the Nossa Senhora do Desterro hydroelectric plant, one of the country's oldest, built between 1907 and 1909. Located on the banks of the Alva River, the premises will house the Natural Museum of Electricity, a joint venture of Seia City Hall and EDP, the Portuguese Electricity Corporation. Traveling south, we can visit another important hydroelectric plant. Inaugurated in 1923, the Ponte dos Jugais hydroelectric power plant, located on the confluence of the Alva River and the Canissa stream, receives water from its surge tank through two sluices with a total drop of about 230 meters. Close to the banks, the forest-wooded area presents a high diversity of flowers, lending rare beauty to the landscape. About 300 meters from the power plant, we find the Ponte dos Jugais water mill. This mill, equipped with a tub wheel, a horizontal water wheel, uses the water from a sluice to grind grain. It is an eloquent heritage of this type of construction, once so important to the economy of this mountain area. A few kilometers to the south, the hallmark of Valazim village is the Church of Our Lady of the Rosary, the local patron saint. Bearing witness to a grander past, this three-nave religious monument is made of granite. It was built in 1630 and underwent several reconstructions since then. Cabeça is another village that stands out as a living symbol of Seia Council regional architecture. The use of building materials such as schist, granite and slate, combined with its location on a peak overlooking several valleys, make this village unique in its mountain setting. Let us visit now a few of the most striking natural attractions on the Estrela Range central block. Lagoa Comprida, the Long Lagoon, and its dam, built in 1911, are the chief water reservoir on the Estrela Range. It was one of the first engineering projects of this kind in Portugal. We can also admire a smaller lagoon close to it, Lagoacho das Favas, as well as one of the most interesting glacier erratic boulder fields found on this range. These huge granite boulders were carried by a glacier thousands of years ago. Just south of Lagoa Comprida, we are awed by the massive Canteru Magro, a rock nearly 300 meters tall that owes its peculiar shaping to glacial and river erosion. Further up, we find the Torre Plateau, the highest point in mainland Portugal at an altitude of 1,993 meters. The unique characteristics of this site led the Council of Europe to grant it the status of biogenetic reservation in 1993. The rare plants in Peixão Lagoon are another preservation priority. This beautiful lagoon overlooks the Candeeira Valley, which in turn opens out suspended over the Zezere Valley. The Zezere Valley is the largest glacier valley in the Estrela Range. It is U-shaped and runs in a nearly perfect straight line for almost 8 kilometers. Lastly, let us visit on the range's northernmost extreme two hallmarks of Portuguese architectural heritage. One of the finest examples of religious architecture in Portugal is the Cathedral of Guarda. Guarda was elevated to a city in 1199 by King Sancho I, who asked Pope Innocent III to transfer the Egitania diocese to this new city. Later, in 1390, works began on the present cathedral. It took almost 2 centuries to complete. This resulted in a mixed bag of different architectural styles: Romanic, Gothic, and Manueline. Guarda Cathedral is a major hallmark of the city of Guarda, impressing onlookers with its ancestral imposing presence. We left to the end the most ancient monument to be seen in our tour. It was granted city status by our first king, Afonso Henriques, over 800 years ago. This is Linhares Castle. Built in the 12th century AD, it underwent a few changes to its original design over the following centuries, as befalls most military architecture. Even so, considering the wonderful panorama one enjoys from this height and its situation close to an interesting urban center, this castle constitutes one of the best and most beautiful examples of architecture to be found on the Estrela Range. Ancient monuments, picturesque villages, unique plants and animals, and natural landscapes of rare beauty. This and much more make the Estrela Range one of the places definitely worth visiting in Portugal, a paradise in which there is always something else to discover.